What grade would you give the education system in this country? Well, I know the grade the US government gave itself in the latest national report card. Spoiler alert, it's failing. The 2024 education report card found things are bad for most students in both public and private school of all performance levels in all grades in the most important subjects, math, reading, and science. And just wait till you see how bad. But before I get there, I want to thank my paid Facts HQ subscribers for voting for this story as the bonus this week. If you want to vote on next week's bonus story, make sure you follow these easy steps and you become a paid subscriber too. Now, I cannot do this work without you and the generosity of my paid subscribers. Literally, my channel would go away if it weren't for them. So if you want to support my work and get some other cool perks too, please consider becoming a paid subscriber. Okay, so the National Center for Education Statistics is an agency within the U.S. Department of Education that is responsible for compiling what we know as the nation's report card. This assessment has been produced since 1969 and is required under federal law, so everyone understands how our education system is performing and what is going on with our school kids. So hopefully we can make things better. Well, the nation's report card for 2024 was just released last month before the government shutdown, and it found this. Average scores for 8th graders are worse in science than they were before the pandemic, and average scores in reading and math for 12th graders were worse than they were before the pandemic. But it's really bad when you start to look at the longer-term trends. According to the report card, 8th grade science scores were actually similar to the scores from 8th graders in 2009. 12th grade math scores were lower than they were in 2005, and the report card found a record high 45% of high school seniors scored below basic in math, and nearly 1 in 3 12th graders were below basic in reading. In fact, the reading scores for seniors in 2024 were 25 points lower than what the seniors scored in 1992. Yikes. Now, there is a silver lining. Average math scores for 4th graders were up from 2022. So yay for that. But why? Why is this happening? Well, the report doesn't specifically say, and I know it's probably easy for all of us to blame this on the pandemic, but the fact is, it's not because of the pandemic, because these issues have been trending in this direction for more than a decade. And it's not just happening in one part of the country or just happening to girls or boys. This slide in education scores is actually happening almost everywhere for both boys and girls in, as I said, all of the age ranges. In science, scores declined between 2019 and 2024 in the Northeast, Midwest, and South, and scores were about the same for students in the West. When it comes to math, scores declined between 2019 and 2024 for students in the South and West regions of the country, but were not significantly different for students in the Northeast or Midwest. And in reading, scores declined between 2019 and 2024 for students in the Midwest and South regions of the country. Scores, by the way, were not significantly different for students in the Northeast or West. Now, perhaps this could be part of the issue. The report found 12th graders are increasingly absent from school. Nearly 1/3 of 12th graders in 2024 reported missing 3 or more days of school in the previous month. That is up from 26% in 2019. Now, the Trump administration points to reports like this to prove the president's position that the education department is failing and just should be eliminated. But critics say that's a horrible idea, and dissolving the education department will only worsen these scores and will just leave us with even more kids who can't perform the basics in reading, math, and science. Now, this video is just scratching the surface of this education report card. There is so much more information, even broken down by ethnicity. So if you want to take a look, I'm going to email everything out to you in my next Facts HQ email, so make sure you sign yourself up.